One. Hello, 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 and welcome in Power Pass, your ticket to greatness. And today's topic is in the hands of our beautiful Raquel over here, and the stage is yours now.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Today I would like to bring a table for we work together because we start these recordings with the target of talking about the hero's journey. And as I said before, we have some phases in there. And usually the first phase, it's exactly about to refuse the call. And what can make us refuse the call? It's about exactly our emotions. So, what we feel, what we learned, our patterns are there, and they make us feel stuck. So, today I would like to share with you a table. So, let me open here.
Okay, so the listeners who are watching our podcast, they will be able to see the table right here, right now. And the ones that are listening to the podcast, you will have access to download it or to see how it looks like. We'll attach links in the description or ability to download it, so no worries. It will be a self-evaluation of ourselves.
Yes. Okay, so this table just has introduction. It was adapted from a book that I read, that is the Fatherless Daughter Project. Understanding
Fatherless
how,
Daughter Project.
yes,
Okay.
understanding our losses and reclaiming our lives. So even if you get the book, you will not find exactly this table, okay? Because it was adapted, and I have here some examples for we go through them in this meeting today. So this is an exercise that it's better that you get ready to write, even because one thing that happens, I believe, very often is something that comes up to our mind. Sometimes we have insights about what is going on, and we have some kind of enlightened explanation. However, then we don't write it down, and many times just vanishes, especially if they are not like connected with a main point in our lives. So here in this table, we have different kind of situations, okay? And then after the situation, what I will ask to you, it's about how you react and how you behave to that emotion. The third part, it's about the root of the behavior. So your perception about the experience that happened first in your life that could cause this reaction. And then be very honest with yourself, because of course, me and Matt, we are not going to check. But it's very important that you be very honest with yourself and that you answer to yourself if these strategies, your reactions, your behavior is making you feel succeeded, and like if it's working or not, okay? So I'm going to give you a first example.
Wait a second. Before we start, I want to make it very, very clear what is the reason of this table. This table will give you insight in your own processes, in the way that you behave, in the way that you react on a certain situations. There might be some kind of feelings resurfacing, and when you become conscious of those feelings, you will be able to work with them and then feel unstuck yourself. So that's what Hakiel said. Just be honest with yourself. We are not here to check on you. We are just here to show you the ways and possibilities how you can unstuck yourself and become successful in your life. So are you ready?
Okay, so one emotion that is very common, and of course, none of us can avoid it, is fear. The thing is how we react to fear, okay? So look at yourself and exactly understand how do you react when you fear something? Because are you escaping from the situation? Are you getting frozen? Do you stop yourself to act, to give a step forward? So what are your reactions?
What is your reaction when you are afraid?
Mhm. Then about the root of the behavior. So I'm going to give you some examples. Some, of course, will resonate with you. Some of others will not resonate with you because, of course, you have your own story. But let's go try. So imagine that for the root of the behavior, you had a father with outbursts of rage.
Father with an outburst of rage.
Rage. Mhm. Or imagine that every time, or there was a special moment that maybe you needed your mom and your mom ignored you.
Being
Or,
ignored.
or even imagine that maybe when you were in school, some kids, they made a joke about you, they pointed their fingers at you, or even they were aggressive with you physically.
Being bullied, or
Yeah.
being, some people might laugh or make fun of you.
Yeah. And
See,
then
see what
the
resonates, yes?
yes. And then the last question is, are you being succeed? So are your reactions, behaviors that you describe initially, are they making you feel comfortable? Is the fear an emotion that when you feel it, when you experience it, just stops you or take you out of your alignment? How you deal with your fear?
What is the result of your fear,
Of your reaction right now?
of your reaction? Yes.
Yes, of your behavior. Is the behavior uh, a behavior that can cope with the situation or not?
Is it a driving force or is it a blockage?
Yes, yes. Because of course, I put here some examples, and it's quite curious because I believe that some people, they can find one or two at least that they recognize that they are being succeed, okay, but are the others that are stopping the person, okay? So then another situation or emotion that you can face, that is about guilt. So again, the question is how you react when you feel guilt. How do you behave? Do you cover yourself? And when I say cover yourself, is that you just hide yourself at home, you become isolated? Are you just avoiding to meet people because you fear the judgment? Or when you feel guilt, is exactly a trigger for you to find a solution straight away and relieve this guilt. So how you react and behave when you feel guilt. And now let's go to the root of the behavior of guilt. You can even try to close your eyes. And my advice is that you go to the age until 7 years old. Go to that time and try to remember a situation that maybe someone was harsh with you, or even you were brave or proactive. You decided to make something, and then someone just say that you didn't do well. Maybe someone was shouting at you, saying that you were just doing mistakes and nothing that you were doing was right. Go to that moment, because this is the information that you have inside of you, and then you decided to repeat this information. And then the question again, if are you being succeed?
Does it serve you or does it block
Or
you?
not? Yeah. Then we have another situation that is about feeling rejection. So how do you react and how do you behave? Do you step out from the situation? Do you reject straight away the people? Maybe even then you can become so rational that you can find a lot of characteristics in the other for you make the step of rejection first, because instead of waiting or just guessing that you can be rejected, you can also, when you predict this, avoid exactly to feel this rejection, and you are the first to reject the other. Do you cry? Do you get angry? Do you get annoyed, upset, sad? And now the root of the behavior. So again, go to your childhood and see exactly a moment that you felt rejected. For example, maybe your parents were working a lot and they were not available in some situation that actually you just needed a cuddle. Or maybe your parents were so busy that they were leaving you with a neighbor, with a grandmother. Try to see what resonates with you. And again, the question, are you being succeed? Then another situation that can happen, and I think no one, of course, like the other ones, is free of doesn't happen. So when you experience a breakup, how you react, how you behave. Are you crying and phoning, for example, to your family, to your friends? Are you going after the person to see if she comes back or if he comes back to you? Do you swear to yourself that I just give up and I don't want any other relationship in my life? Or also, maybe you can have a outburst and you can break some objects at home, or maybe even you can get drunk. Are you having behaviors that are self-destroying you or not? Then in the root of the behavior. So again, go to your childhood and remember a moment of separation, or even for the bonds in your family. Were they strong or not? Could you feel that your mom trusts your father? Or could you feel that your father trusts your mom? How did your father look after your mom? And how did your mom look after your father? And how they looked after you? And now the question, are you being succeed?
Does it serves you or does it destroys you?
Mhm. Now another situation that sometimes I think this can put people in extremes. Some they love arguments, others they hate arguments, okay? So how you react when you face an argument? Are you diplomatic? Do you get upset? Do you want to run away from there? Do you raise your voice? What are you doing even to avoid an argument? Are you just laying down your boundaries? Or actually you build a good fence to avoid the argument so no one can reach you because they can fear you? And now go to the root of the behavior. Go again to your childhood. And remember an argument between your mom and your dad. What happened? Do you think one of them was stubborn and made the situation escalate? Did you feel that you were the reason for that argument? Did you fear that happened physically something or even happened? If you look to your parents, Can you identify the one that was more challenging? Can you identify one of your parents that, for instance, was saying that it doesn't matter, it's not so important? Go to your experience. And the question again, are you being succeed with this behavior, with these reactions? Yes or no? Now another situation, to start something new. So how you react, behave when you have to start a new job, when you have to go to live in another city, another town, when you have to start, for example, a family, new studies, how you react? Is your reaction of excitement because, yes, a change is coming? Or you look to that change as something that is heavy, that it's difficult? Maybe your thoughts are about how can I meet new people? I don't know what is expecting me there. I don't know if I can really cope with the family that I can create, if I can cope with this new job. What are the new tasks telling you? Do you think you can manage or not? Or even when you know that you wish to start something new, but then you just postpone. For example, you say to yourself, next year I'm going to do it. Or you put conditions. I will start this new thing if I get a new house, or if I get a new car, or if my family of origin moves to another place. And then go again to your childhood. Go to the root of the behavior. So it's important here that even you wonder, how did your family started something new? Did they move to another place? Did they get a new house? Did you have to change city or town because a new job started in another place? And again, are you being succeed or not? Look at your behavior. How do you react when you have a notion, the desire, or even the fact that you have to start something new? See how your behavior copes with this situation. To answer to yourself if you are being succeed or not. Then here we have another state that is affection. How you react, behave when people show affection to you. When they cuddle you, when they compliment you, how you react. Do you feel uneasy, uncomfortable, or actually the opposite? You prefer and you show to people that you like to get his affection. How you react when people hug you. How you react when, for example, a friend of yours invites you for lunch and he wants to pay. Do you accept it well or not? How you react when, for example, you get a gift unexpected. Someone just bought a present for you and without a special day and just comes and gives it to you. How do you feel? Do you feel okay, comfortable, or not? How do you feel in public with your partner when he hugs you? And now I would like that you go again to your childhood to find the root of the behavior. How were your parents demonstrative with affection to you? How did they express that they cared about you? Do you remember which parent did you prefer to go to the lab? Do you remember when this stopped to happen? Do you remember eventually if you came from school, you got home, and you were crying, upset with something? Who was there for you? Was the house empty? Or did you have one of your parents to support you? Or they were there, but they didn't pay attention and they didn't notice that you were upset, that you were sad? And now again, the question, are you being succeed with your behavior, yes or no? Now we have here another feeling that is about disappointment. So the question is how you react, how you behave when you feel disappointed. Do you isolate yourself? Do you cry? How you deal with that frustration? Do you try more and more? Or actually, you just decide that you give a step back and you will not try anymore. How you react, behave when you get disappointed with a friend, with a partner. Are you becoming suspicious about people in general? How much can you trust in people? Or maybe even, and I'm going a layer down, maybe you can express disappointment because you were expecting an exchange of something and then the other person didn't give it to you. How you react to your expectations that get frustrated. Do you stop to talk to the people? Or if it's a disappointment at work, what do you decide to do? To isolate yourself? Or for example, you just put a persona, and I mean that you just put a mask to deal with all your colleagues. And now the root of the behavior. Go to your childhood, close your eyes, and again, between 1 year, 7 years, see exactly who was the adult that disappointed you, that you trust, and suddenly it did something very wrong to you. Who was the friend that had a birthday and you were not invited? Or even maybe you wanted some kind of toy. One of your parents maybe promised to you that would give you this toy, for example, in your birthday, and then you didn't get that toy. Maybe you wanted a bicycle, and maybe actually the bicycle was given to your brother or to your sister because she was older than you. So then you got the bicycle later when she was grown enough to get another one. Or maybe you were present in a fight between your grandmother and your mother, and you heard maybe something that hurt you deeply because you heard information that it was totally against the perception that you had from them, from one or another. Or maybe some adult had a bad temper. And suddenly just broke up something at home by revenge. Maybe broke some furniture. Or maybe even they took your pet away. Maybe they gave your pet to adoption. So go to that moment of pain that you had a belief of reality and suddenly you face another one that hurt you. And now the question, are you being succeed? Yes or no? Because again, even sometimes there are people that when they face a disappointment, they just decide to move on straight away to find or new people or a new job. Sometimes even they can just remain for a few months. Okay, so this is the exercise for today. Even because I'm bringing this today because I think sometimes we are talking here a lot about emotions, but I think it's also important to give this situation of breakup of arguments because this is what happens in our daily life, and it's like are these situations exactly that show us then what how we cope, because this belongs to the reality, even
So,
that is not so pleasant.
yes, today we touched really deep emotions.
Mm.
And the whole goal of this exercise was to make you aware that as children, we created ways of coping with all of those situations. The first time we experience fear or guilt or rejection or any other emotion from this list, we created a coping mechanism. And now discovering and being self-aware of how are we reacting in this kind of situations, what is the root of this behavior,
Mhm.
and if this behavior and this reaction is serving us or it's blocking us. That it's very important because if you become aware of it, you will be able to work with it and unstuck yourself.
Mhm. We-
Therefore, this list, this PowerPoint will be available for you, and you can go through it by your own as well, and be honest with you.
yeah, and
Connect.
of mhm. And of course, if they can add more situations and emotions, feel free, because this was just some examples, okay? Because I think people can recognize very well the kind of situations that they can feel blocked and don't allow them to move, because if you are with a rigid mind, okay, with fixed ideas, it's very difficult for you to think in another road. And it's not exactly something that we are very aware when we are having a fixed idea, because it's just habit.
Mhm.
The root of the behavior, it was like the event that shows to the people that after that, other situations come. Of course, again, people, they felt fear or they felt guilt, rejection, and so on. And then they just continue to use the same information that they developed when they were children to cope now with the reality when they are adults.
Exactly.
Sometimes even I say that all of us, we are big children. Because
Yes.
and I say this because I can hear people being very harsh with themselves, judging them a lot, like, oh, but I'm doing this mistake again. And easy, because of course, this was an event that happened. You learned this as a child, you grow up, and then you didn't have enough situations for you try, or even someone that could tell you, you know what, let's go try another way. You don't. You just try to do your best in the moment, and that's it.
Yes.
So you continue to be just a big child.
Therefore, don't judge yourself.
No.
Be kind to
No.
yourself.
Yeah.
Be loving to yourself. Like to your own child if you have children. If not, like to any other child. Be love, be kind, and be, how do you say, not forgetful, but permit yourself to make mistakes.
Because also this table can give you awareness about your inner child.
Mhm.
How is this inner child behaving? Okay, because this is your inner child. Or you have, yeah, because it's the reality.
Yes, we all have our inner children
Yeah.
within us, and the inner children have the saved data of our most basic reactions and the first moments of experiences. Therefore, the first moment of our experience of any kind of thing in our life was explained by the mind of a child. Therefore, later when we are grown-ups, we can go back to these processes and re-explain them once again to ourselves. And this will change the way that we behave, and this will change the way that we react, and it will change the way of our success or of the blockages that we have. That's amazing. I feel very complete for today.
Okay.
And that's quite a lot of information, and there are deep emotions. So I invite you all to make this self-evaluation and see which emotions, which programs from the past are your friends and are helping you to become successful, and which are blocking you. And in the next episode, we will share some information how can you start working with them and how can you start transforming them on your behalf. So I invite you and tune in next Monday, 6 p.m. for the next episode of Power Pass, your ticket to greatness. And today it was me, Mateusz Bajerski, and Hakiel Eloisa Ferreira Ezekiel.
Very well. Okay, so that's it for today. And on Monday, we are here again.
See you
Okay,
next time.
bye-bye. Thank you.